by early third quarter, this thing was over. Jazz by 25 over the Lakers.
So no Anthony Davis, no Dennis Schroder. I understand that they are depleted manpower-wise, but what I saw last night from the Lakers defensively, it was poop. It was poop, Ron Burgundy. It was poop. It was a lack of effort. And I think if there's anything you extract from that game is that aspect of it, right? Utah shoots 47% from the field, 46% from the three-point line. They made 20-plus threes in that game. They made 50 threes in their last 2 games. Utah is the best team in the West as of right now, but I don't worry about the Lakers long-term because, look, if you get AD back, you get Dennis Schroder back, offensively they will be fine. But it seemed like defensively they were a JV team last night. I mean, I don't know how many this morning at 3:30 in the morning, I'm watching the tape. I saw Marc Gasol involved in so many pick and rolls, and he was just taken advantage of. I mean, he was taken advantage of in ways that I can't even say because we were a PG network. That's what I saw last night. And I think ultimately that lack of effort is something that LeBron James and company really need to put in check as they move forward.
Well, I don't know if it's a lack of effort as much as it is they may not be a good fit and matched up against the Utah Jazz with the way that the roster is constructed at this particular moment without AD and Dennis on board. Like I said before, they just are not very good right now. Let's just say that. You know, when you get run out of the building the way that they did, it's a little alarming. It's a little bit, but they don't have a full arsenal. And you start to try to figure out, okay, if we had everybody, how would it look? Would it be a little bit different? Obviously, LeBron didn't play nearly the minutes that he was playing in the past due to –
Well, he didn't play minutes because he got blown out.
I would say probably due to being, blown out a little bit there. So you start to just try to figure out how to fix it. I think that you start to say, okay, is something setting in from a tired standpoint as a team because you've now lost a handful of games in a row? Does that start to wear on you? Are you thinking mentally too much out there instead of getting back to the basics? And so, when you allow a team to shoot 45.8% from three, and you're shooting 24% from three, you're not going to win very many games.
Well, they've been shooting bad from the three-point line. That's a huge indictment on the Lakers, and that's been one of their most troubling issues in the month of February, right? Their lack of three-point shooting. LeBron talked about it in the postgame. But there are things called effort defensively, man. That's one thing that travels every single day. You can bring effort defensively to close out the shooters. Now, with everything being said, you know what I loved about the Utah Jazz last night? Is that when your opponent is injured, you keep your foot on their neck and you don't let them up, no matter how hard they tried. They put them in the dirt last night. They buried them 20 feet under. If there's anything that's a lingering effect for LeBron James and this Laker team, it's the way the Utah Jazz blitzed them last night. The game was over in the second quarter. It was over in the second quarter. If you look the way they were spacing the floor and the effort that the Lakers were giving defensively, LeBron James sat out the entire fourth quarter because it was almost a 30-point lead. So if we want to sit up here and say, well, are the Utah Jazz, are they for real? Even though they won 22 out of 24 games, tonight's a statement game. The Jazz are for real, and they proved it on a national stage last night by beating the Lakers head into the white meat, Key.
Well, I'm not going to say that they're not for real. They are for real, but in a 7-game series, are they for real? A 1-game sample size when a team is hampered.
It's not a 1-game sample size, though, Key. They've won 22 out of 24 games. It's not a 1-game sample size.
It's a 1-game sample size if you trying to go at the champions. It's a 1-game sample size. I mean, yes, over the course of the season, so far they've won as many games as you just said. But that is not against the Lakers. That is not against the Clippers. They've got to get through those two teams for it to be, for me, at least to jump on and be like, oh, yeah, they super for real. They getting ready to go win the championship. Just because they take care of business with a team that everybody has looked at as the perennial champions and saying that the Lakers are going to do it again, the Lakers are going to do it again, and then they're missing a couple key components off the team, and now the first thing that we start to think is, well, the Lakers are less than. Utah's all of a sudden the juggernaut of the NBA or the juggernaut of the Western Conference. I'm not ready to say that just yet.
Yeah, no, look, at the end of the day, you have to pay them the respect. I mean, all the games, pretty much, they won by double digits.
Yes, they have the respect, right, Jake, but I'm not ready to push them at the top just because their record indicates that.
I'm not saying that translates to them winning the whole thing or them coming out of the West. At the end of the day, it's still, if the Lakers are fully healthy, the question is, will AD be available? That's the question for the Lakers, because Dennis Schroder is not enough. Dennis Schroder and Montrezl Harrell, not enough. You need AD. If AD isn't there at the end of the day, if he tweaks that Achilles again and he happens to be out, you will see the Utah Jazz and the Clippers in the Western Conference Finals.
I mean, clearly, if the Lakers are missing Robin the Batman, it's going to be a little bit different than we saw LeBron several years ago in the East take care of business and put a team on his back. The West is a lot stronger. So it's going to be difficult to do. But I'm assuming AD is going to be healthy a month from now, a month and a half from now, where the Lakers will get back to where they were prior to his injury.
Here's what I'm trying to do if I'm the Lakers, because matchup-wise, I'm not trying to see Utah until we get to the Western Conference Finals. Because of the way they play, because of small ball, and how big the Lakers are, Marc Gasol, Montrezl Harrell, even if you do have AD back, it's not a great matchup for them due to spacing and the way Utah can shoot threes. So I'm trying to say, hey, if I'm the Lakers, I'm trying to see the Clippers or somebody else, potentially before we get to the Western Conference Finals. I don't think that's the matchup the Lakers want to see.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.